to T77 Squared Concerts. Monty's grabbing his paintbrush of choice.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I hope you guys have been having a good week. We're glad to be back. I mean, these weeks seem to go kind of fast.
Yeah.
You know, like before you know it, what I mean by that is we feel like we're back with you for a T77 Squared concert before we know it. In fact, this morning we were kind of like, what are we going to sing?
Yeah, we didn't make
Monty had a great idea. You had a good idea, though.
Well, we decided we're kind of been doing theme nights a little bit, so we thought we might keep that up. And so this week is going to be Nostalgia Night. So we're going to do 2 songs for you that lean heavily on nostalgia, which is pretty easy for us because so much of our stuff does lean on nostalgia. And I'm going to play for you guys a brand new song I've never played live in this setting before. I might have pulled it out.
Which is why I have a cheat sheet.
And it's got a cheat sheet.
I have a cheat sheet because I just learned this one today. This is a new one, but I really like it. It's really great.
So this is pure nostalgia, looking back to the songs that we grew up on, that we fell in love to. And if you saw the post on Facebook, there are 8 individual specific references to well-known songs from the 70s inside of this song. And so the first person out there on the feed that can get all 8 songs in the correct order that they come in the song and in one comment box, so you got to get them all together, get them right, and then in one comment box gets a Troubadour 77 hat like this one. Not this one, obviously.
Actually, you're wearing the wrong one. You're wearing the True Believer Fest hat.
Oh, well, you get a True Believer Fest hat or a T77 hat.
Or both.
Hats galore. Trust me, we got swag. We're happy to send you something. So. But listen carefully. Try to pick out the songs. And more importantly, as the lyric says, close your eyes and remember. And think about those important songs and the ones when you were a teenager and growing up and the ones that have still hung on even late into life. So this song is called Stereo. There were nights when we told secrets without one word being said. We played old soul on vinyl. We played grown-ups in my bed. Every word felt like an answer. Every tune rose like a prayer. They sang as if they knew us, and we cried because we cared. Those days ago in stereo. Dim the lights and drop the needle on some old forgotten song. Let your heart break and remember. Close your eyes, sing along. Refusal and then surrender. Say a prayer for the pretender. The 21st night of September. Teenage lament, 74. Boy, you gotta carry that weight. Yours is no disgrace. Welcome to the human race. If I had ever been here before, those days ago in stereo. to you guys, 8 specific songs in one comment in the right order. I'm so happy with that song. We really play off nostalgia a lot. It's one of our favorite things to do is to go looking back in our history, particularly our music history, and to bring forward the things that were like really important to us and kind of drop them into this time zone. So that's something we're thrilled about. And
Yeah.
going to do the same thing.
We write a lot about our heroes and about a time that we actually weren't really a part of, but we became a part of because we fell in love with their music so much. So I'm gonna try something here. Little makeshift action I got going on here. Let me see if I can get into my own computer. Okay, so this song that I'm going to do is actually a song on our first album. It's the title of our first album as Troubadour 77. It's called Selma Avenue. And Selma Avenue is a real life street in Hollywood. And for those of you who were able to join us for our record release party, listening party that we had a couple weeks ago, I probably mentioned to you how I felt like my muse as a songwriter and a creative person really kind of resides there. And so I have written many, many songs about Los Angeles and recorded them over the years on different albums. I have about, I guess, 4 important songs about just the city of LA. 2 on my first record that I ever put out back in 2003, and then 1 on the Selma Avenue record, which I'm going to play for you here in a minute. And then on the new album that's out now, we have another song called The Gates of Rossmore. I don't know, maybe we should do a T77 Squared Concert, like the songs of LA. Anna's songs of LA. Let us know if you'd be interested in that episode.
You do songs about LA, I do songs about North Georgia.
Yeah. Well, you have to have your own episode.
Yeah. I have as many songs about North Georgia as you have about
Okay,
LA.
well, if you guys like that idea, maybe we'll come up in a few weeks and we'll do an episode of the songs of LA for me and then the songs of Georgia for Monty. So type your comments and let us know. We'll go back and check them out. But anyway, so this is called Selma Avenue, and this kind of has a little bit of a story behind it. So if you'll bear with me, but it will make the understanding of the song better if I can tell it. So many years ago in the 50s, a guy named Mickey Goldson started a publishing company, and it was called Criterion Music. And his son came along. His son is named Bo, and well, let me start from the beginning. Criterion Music was a little publishing house in Hollywood off of Selma Avenue. And this is a picture of it that, if you can see it, it's pretty old school. It's sepia tone and everything, this old photograph.
We'll post these.
And I will post these up, post the concert on our Facebook as well. But there's an old car in there, and this was probably taken circa 1972, the year I was born. But anyway, Mickey Goldson started this publishing company, and his son Bo, this is Bo, came along, and Bo signed me to a publishing deal at that company. But years ago, when it first started, Bo was kind of on the scene, and he was telling his dad, who all the good, cool songwriters were of the day, and that he needed to sign. And you're gonna take that? Okay. And so, Bo was actually going to the University of Utah here at the time, and he was on summer break, and he was about to go back, and he said, "Dad, you should really check out this guy named Jackson Brown. He's pretty, everybody's talking about him." Thus, I wore my Jackson Brown shirt today. Nostalgia night. And so Bo came back from Christmas vacation, and when he did, his dad had signed Jackson Brown to his first publishing deal to Criterion Music, and he wrote 4 of the songs that are on this album, is owned by Criterion. And then Jackson was friends with all the Eagles, Don Henley, of course, Glenn Frey, and then Linda Ronstadt, and the whole group, J.D. Souther. They were all writing songs together. Jackson wrote Take It Easy with Glenn Frey and stuff. And they were all kind of finding their voice, their artistry, their record deals at the time. And they would according to Bo and the story that he told me, they would gather in the little recording studio at the Criterion Publishing House, which was off Selma Avenue, and it was a very forward-thinking thing at the time because people would write songs and they weren't able to like demo them right away. They only just played them live out at the Troubadour or whatever. But Bo and his dad provided this great studio. And so they would all go in there and work their ideas out, guitar, vocals, and it became a really, really cool place. And years later, fast forward, I wound up getting signed to the same publishing company. And I was kind of doing the same thing in LA. I was writing songs and going over to this little Selma Avenue, studio that was just like no bigger than, it was very small and old school. And found my way through, and got signed. And then I talked to Bo a few years ago. Unfortunately, Bo passed away in 2016, but before he did, I interviewed him, and he's the one that told me all these stories that I'm telling you right now. And the reason I interviewed him is because I was writing this song, and I wanted it to be informed by actual historical things. And so he had to sell the publishing company, and when he did, the property was very valuable, and as soon as he signed the paper to sell the building, unfortunately, he didn't want to have to do it, but he did. The bulldozers came in, and that is also referenced in the song. And I also got to ask him, I said, did you know Glenn Frey? And he goes, yeah. And this was recently, right after Glenn Frey died, and he said, I actually went to his funeral, and I was like, oh man. I was like, what was that like? There must have been like a musical, gospel going on. And he says, no, they sang one song at the whole funeral, and they said it was an old song called My Old Pals, which was a song in the Criterion catalog, not written by any of the folks I mentioned, but Kim Carnes recorded it. And it is such a beautiful song, and J.D. Souther, Don Henley, Jackson Brown, and Jack Tempchin, thank you, sang it at the funeral, and it was very beautiful. So just really some really cool insights. But it was that era, it was that place that inspired this song, and it obviously has very great meaning to me because I took a while to tell you this whole story. And line by line, if you are super interested, if you go to our website, troubadour77.com, I map out the song line by line and what it's referencing. The first verse is about Jackson Brown. The second verse is about a band called Shiloh that Don Henley was in, which was actually discovered by Kenny Rogers, of all people. And then when Shiloh didn't work out, they became the Eagles. And so it references a phoenix rising. And so there's all these like inside references in the song. But this is called Selma Avenue. All those troubadours walked through your doors, desperados of the truth. So take it easy, baby, you have saved me. Selma Avenue. somehow caught a ride to Selma. All those troubadours walked through your doors, desperados of truth.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
guys,
so
for
much.
Nostalgia Night. We want to thank
Yeah.
the folks that back us up here, the Great Bose Corporation for the sound gear, Goodan Guitars, Tune Track software, and a lot of people have been talking about the guitar rig that I'm playing, and so I'm going to start putting together some things. Tell your guitar player buddies to come and check out these. We're going to start talking about some gear a little bit. I got a great compliment last week from the fantastic guitar player Dan Huff, who's one of the greatest guitar players that ever lived. Was watching, signed on, and said, "Man, your tone is great. What are you playing?" And so we're going to do a little rig rundown, and I'll show you guys.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good name for an episode, the Rig Rundown.
We'll do a rig rundown episode, and we'll do the LA, which is Los Angeles, and then we'll do my LA, which is
Georgia.
kind of like Lower Alabama, but we'll actually let it be Georgia. But thanks so much, guys, for coming to T77 Squared, and we will see y'all next week.
Thanks so much. Take care, guys.